Hey, it's Rick with the Rock Bottom Outreach, and it is Real Talk Thursday. I want to talk about one of the greatest gifts you can give your children, and that is this right here, is God's Word. But there's something I want to talk about first. I know myself, when my kids were little, um, I was a little intimidated trying to teach them things about the Bible because I did not know that much about the Bible myself. And in fact, it kept me from going to Bible study because I felt ignorant. I just did. Growing up, I did not learn the basic Bible stories or Bible songs. And so already felt dumb enough without going to Bible study and afraid somebody was going to ask me a question or I was going to say something that made that and I felt more dumb than I already did. I use that word because that's exactly how I felt. But you have to understand. You're like, well, okay, if I don't know everything about God's word, I can at least take them to church and they can learn about it, and that's a great idea. But understand what you're modeling to your kids. That is awesome that you take them to church. But sometimes what we're modeling is the very thing that we're trying to avoid. And that is just a one-day relationship with God when a personal relationship is 7 days a week. And what does that look like? It looks like this: praying daily, talking to God, which is praying, a devotion, spending time in God's word. Understand your kids watch everything you do. And so if Monday through Saturday you do whatever you want to do, maybe even get hammered on Saturday night, and then Sunday morning you go and you take them to church and go home and watch the Cowboy game, and then you do it all over again. Are you really teaching them what a real relationship with God looks like if you want that to be number one in their life? In all honesty, you're not showing them that. You're modeling what I would say 80% of people do. They dedicate one day a week to going to church, and if the Cowboys play at noon and the service is at 10, then a lot of times maybe you don't even go. And I'm not casting a stone because I did the same thing. But you know what? There are things I remembered about certain individuals, and that was how every time I'd go over to a guy's house, his dad always was reading his Bible. I did watch my stepdad read his Bible later on in his life. And so, I began to see through others, what that looks like exactly. But, here's what happens. We become intimidated by our lack of knowledge of God's word, that we don't share it with our kids. And that would be like me talking to my kids about algebra and geometry. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to start that discussion. But there's an old saying that says, coach what you know. And here's what it means. You coach what you do know. And that means you teach what you know. So growing up, if you learned anything about the Bible, you need to be teaching that to your kids. And here's the great thing. If you don't know, you can learn right alongside them. And it's okay to say you don't know. And that's even fun as you and your kid are growing in your walk with Christ together. To say, okay, what does sovereign mean? I don't know. Let's look it up. Well, you have probably an iPhone and you can look up the word sovereign, grace, mercy. I mean, it's a handy little gadget. And so my question today is, what do you model to your kids? How important is it to going to church? How important is that relationship? Let me tell you what God's word says about this. Proverbs 22:6. Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. Let me say that again. Train a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not turn from it. When I was younger, I was raised watching the Oklahoma Sooners, and my grandmother's side was from Oklahoma, and I grew up an Oklahoma Sooner fan, and I still am today. That's a great example of what we teach our kids. And a lot of people give me a hard time, but my point is this. A lot of times we are devoted to something and we're not sure why, and it's just because that's how it is in your family. And so that is an opportunity to start a new tradition in your family, reading the Bible nightly, having a devotion daily, praying over meals, going to church. The Bible clearly says, train your child up in a way he shall go, and when he is older, he will not part for it. That is a great Christmas gift. Hey, it's Rick with the Rock Bottom Outreach. It's been Real Talk Thursday. Have a great day.